I used to believe we had the kind of marriage people envied. 8 years in, and it still felt right. We weren't flashy, and we didn't post long love notes on social media, but we understood each other. I knew how Daniel liked his coffee. He knew I couldn't sleep without my side of the bed perfectly made. Our rhythms were in sync. We were solid. That's what I told myself. We had rituals, late-night drives for ice cream, Sunday morning pancakes, anniversary trips even when work made it inconvenient. He touched me like I mattered, looked at me like I was still the woman he married. We didn't argue about big things. Even the small things passed like weather. I felt lucky. But lately, something was shifting. Daniel would stare out the window too long, laugh a little less. He still kissed me goodnight, still wrapped his arms around me in the dark, but it felt measured. Like he was holding something back. I noticed it first when I caught him lost in thought while I spoke, something he never did before. I asked if everything was okay. He smiled, said he was just tired. Work had been rough. I believed him. I didn't press. I didn't want to be that kind of wife, the one who interrogates, who panics at silence. So I chalked it up to stress, maybe the natural wear of being together so long. Everyone hits a quiet season, right? One night, while folding laundry, I found one of his shirts inside out, smelling faintly of cologne I didn't recognize. It wasn't mine. But it didn't smell like another woman either. It just wasn't familiar. I asked about it. He said he sprayed something at the office. His tone was relaxed, unbothered. I dropped it. Still, something gnawed at me. He started working later. Skipping dinner occasionally. When he was home, he was affectionate, but his eyes didn't linger the way they used to. I told myself not to overthink. Not to read into it. I had no proof of anything. Besides, love doesn't mean butterflies every day. Sometimes it means choosing each other, even when the spark is dim. But I missed him. Missed the way he used to pull me closer without needing a reason. The way he whispered mine when we kissed. Those small, grounding things. Now, it was all autopilot. Safe, but distant. I kept telling myself we were fine. That we were simply in a phase. People grow. Needs shift. Maybe we just needed a vacation. Or a good conversation. Or a long night of laughter like we used to have. I didn't know then that everything was about to change. That a single sentence from Daniel would crack the foundation of everything we'd built. And that the version of me who still believed in safety in forever was already fading. I just didn't see it yet. It was a quiet Saturday night. Just the two of us. A bottle of red, the fireplace lit, a movie playing in the background neither of us was really watching. I remember thinking, maybe this is what we needed. That warm, easy silence we used to fall into so effortlessly. But Daniel turned to me, his eyes serious in a way I wasn't prepared for. "There's something I've been thinking about," he said. My stomach tightened. He took a breath. "I've had this fantasy. For a while now." I half laughed, trying to diffuse whatever tension was creeping in. "Okay." He didn't smile. "I want to see you with someone else." Silence. The words didn't register at first. I thought I misunderstood. "You want, what?" "I want to watch you. With another man. Just once." I stared at him, waiting for the punchline. It never came. He wasn't joking. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't angry. He was calm. Almost gentle. Like he was sharing something sacred. I couldn't breathe. "That's not funny," I said, my voice sharper than I expected. "I'm not trying to be," he replied. "It's something I've fantasized about for a long time." I never said anything because I was scared of how you'd react. Anger flared in me. "So now you're telling me you want to share me?" "No," he said quickly. "Not share. I just want to see you, through someone else's eyes. Feel something different. Not because I don't love you. But because I do." I stood up. I couldn't sit next to him anymore. My hands were shaking. He continued, softly. "It's not about you not being enough. It's about me wanting to experience something, vicariously. A kind of closeness. I don't expect you to say yes. But I wanted to be honest." I didn't speak. Couldn't. I felt insulted, betrayed, humiliated. But beneath the hurt, there was something else. Something quieter, more confusing. I looked at him, the man I'd built a life with. And he looked back at me like he'd just handed me the most vulnerable part of himself. Not demanding. Not manipulative. Just open. That made it worse somehow. I wanted to scream. To slap him. To cry. Instead, I went to bed. Alone. For days, I avoided the conversation. But the thought festered. I couldn't escape it. The way he said it. The calmness. The raw honesty. Was this a test? Some sick game? Or did he truly believe this would bring us closer? And why did part of me, a very small, very silent part, feel curious? Not about the act. But about how he would react. About why he needed this. I didn't give him an answer. I told him I needed time. But something had shifted. Not just between us, within me. I hated that he asked. But I hated even more that I hadn't said no. 2 weeks passed. I barely recognized myself in the mirror. Something fragile inside me had cracked, and the pieces hadn't quite settled. I told myself I wouldn't bring it up again. That Daniel's request didn't deserve space in my head. But it was still there. The way he looked at me when he said it. Not lustful. Not cruel. Just quietly desperate. Late one night, I found myself online, reading forums, stories, confessions. Not because I was looking for validation, I wasn't. I just wanted to understand if others had felt this. This mix of betrayal and fascination. I posted anonymously, expecting nothing. Instead, I got a message. His name was Aidan. He wasn't forward. He didn't send photos. He simply asked why I was conflicted. Over the next few days, we exchanged messages. He listened, without judgment or assumptions. No pressure. No expectation. Just space. And maybe, that's what I'd needed most. I told Daniel I'd spoken to someone. His reaction wasn't what I expected. No jealousy. No anger. He simply nodded and said, "If it happens. I want to know everything." There was a hunger in his voice I hadn't heard in months. That terrified me. Still, I chose the night. Quietly, deliberately. I picked the hotel. The time. I told Aidan what it was. Just one night. Nothing more. No promises. No connection. Just what it was. He agreed. I wore a black dress I hadn't touched in years. I didn't recognize the woman in the mirror. She looked composed, but I could feel the tremor beneath her skin. My heart pounded in my ears as I stepped into the hotel room. Aidan was already there, tall, calm, respectful. He didn't touch me at first. He waited. I sat down. We talked. Not much, but enough. Then I reached for his hand. The moment our lips met, everything inside me screamed. Guilt. Excitement. Fear. It wasn't Daniel's kiss. It wasn't his scent. His touch. But it wasn't wrong, either. Not in the way I expected. We undressed slowly. There was no rush. No pressure. Just a strange silence between us. As he moved over me, I wasn't thinking about pleasure. I was thinking about Daniel, somewhere watching, just as he'd asked. I had left the camera on, discreetly propped. I didn't want to know if he was there, but I felt him anyway. Like a ghost in the room. The intimacy was surreal. Detached, but heavy. Aidan was gentle. Patient. When it was over, I sat up slowly and looked out the window. I didn't feel powerful. I didn't feel ashamed. I felt exposed. I dressed without speaking. Aidan kissed my hand, then left. No questions. No promises. Just silence. Back home, I found Daniel sitting in the dark, the glow of the screen still lingering on his face. He looked up at me and whispered, "Thank you." I wanted to ask, "Thank you for what?" But I didn't. I just stood there, unsure if something had ended, or just begun. The next morning, we didn't speak. Daniel made coffee, I made toast. We moved around each other like strangers learning to share the same space. No eye contact. No tension. Just emptiness. I waited for him to say something. A question, a feeling, anything. But he didn't. Neither did I. 3 days passed before we finally spoke about it. We were in the kitchen. I was rinsing a glass when he said, without looking up, "It didn't feel the way I thought it would." I turned slowly. "What did it feel like?" He paused. "Like I was watching you slip away from me in real time." I didn't know how to respond. There was no anger in his voice. Just regret. The kind that seeps into the cracks you didn't know existed. "You said you wanted it," I whispered. "I did," he said. "But I thought I'd feel closer to you. Like I could access something you'd never show me otherwise." I nodded, though I didn't fully understand. Or maybe I did, and just didn't want to admit it. "Did it make you feel closer to me?" he asked. The question stunned me. I searched for an answer that wouldn't hurt him, but I couldn't lie. "No," I said. "It made me feel like someone else. Not your wife. Not myself. Just a version of me I didn't recognize." His eyes closed briefly. A quiet sigh. I thought it would fix the distance I'd been feeling. Or at least explain it. And did it? "No," he said. "It made it worse." That night, he slept on the couch. Not out of anger, more like habit. We stopped touching after that. Not in a hostile way. Just disconnected. We were both present, but our presence meant nothing. Meals were eaten in silence. Doors closed a little more quietly. The warmth between us turned into polite cold. I caught myself staring at him sometimes, wondering if he'd ever really been mine, or if we'd both just been borrowing time. I didn't regret what I did. But I hated what it revealed. That maybe we were both searching for something neither of us could give. A week later, I packed a small bag. He didn't ask where I was going. I think he knew. "I just need space," I said. He nodded. "I know." I stayed with a friend. The silence in that apartment felt less heavy, but still unfamiliar. I found myself rereading old texts from Daniel. Listening to old voicemails. I kept waiting for the ache to dull. It didn't. He didn't call. Neither did I. We weren't divorced. We weren't broken. But we weren't the same. Sometimes I wonder if he regrets asking. If I regret saying yes. But deep down, I think we both knew the night he made his wish, something in us ended. Not violently. Just quietly. And now, I'm learning to live with the version of myself I met that night. She doesn't cry. She doesn't apologize. She remembers everything, especially the silence.